There are certain things that are really impossible to get consistently in a relationship with a narcissist. And these are certain things that you'll really want and need in a relationship. And in this video, we're going to cover what they are. Hi, my name's Marie, and welcome to the Revelation Station, where we talk and take action on healing from narcissistic abuse. So let's get into it. The first thing that's missing and definitely lacking in a relationship with a narcissist, which I'm sure you would have experienced, is validation. There's a complete lack of validation in this kind of a relationship. The narcissist will often take your point of view or your feelings very personally, and if they weren't to take if they weren't to react to your perspective, then that would have implications for them, which would mean that they would need to take some kind of accountability and responsibility for their actions. And we know that narcissists are not able to take responsibility. So instead of accepting your standpoint, they will attack rather than them then need to accept responsibility or a certain amount of accountability. The problem we then have is what this then leads to is one person in the relationship holding all of this responsibility. The reason for all of the problems in the relationship are me, and I'm overreacting, or I'm too sensitive, or I'm too selfish, or I didn't do enough, or I'm not enough. Like, there is no shared responsibility. And just going back to this validation, what is it that validation actually gives you? If you just imagine for a moment how you would feel if this person validated you on a consistent basis and what that would do for your self esteem, it would really give a sense of confidence and answer the question for yourself what it would give you. But for me, it would give me a sense of um self-esteem and self-confidence, reassurance, and just feeling supported in the relationship. But if you have self-confidence in a relationship with a narcissist, then you're going to be more likely to bring up even more issues and more feelings, and that is something that the narcissist definitely doesn't want. So validation is really lacking in this relationship. Okay, so the next thing that's missing in a relationship with a narcissist is authenticity. This is on the down. So when you are chronically invalidated, you can kind of go a couple of ways, and you can either start suppressing parts of yourself and your point of view and your feelings, your personality, even because you know that it's not going to go down well when you air um, your perspective. And so, in that sense, your authenticity is going down. Or if you do bring up your concerns, then you're going to experience conflict in the relationship, but in a way where there is no resolution. Have you noticed that? How if you bring up an issue, it I've made a video, what is a narcissist issue on top of issues. There is no resolution. But just getting back to the authenticity, also we can become it can be a kind of sticking point, and we can get really confused over that because in the beginning we can feel like the narcissist is such an authentic person, but what is lacking here is the consistency of their authenticity, which in and of itself is a lack of authenticity. If somebody isn't able to maintain who they really present themselves to be at one point in time, and then you interact with them further and further, and the person who they once was is like just vanishing before your eyes, then that is a lack of authenticity. And it may even show up in other ways. For example, they could be a kind of chameleon where they just show a different kind of side, not even of themselves, because they change so much depending on who they're around, and they become different things to different people. And so it all kind of breeds this lack of authenticity, which leads to a further thing that's impossible to have in a relationship with a narcissist, and that is connection. There is no genuine feeling of connection with a narcissist for many reasons, but a connection with another human comes from them being able to feel empathy for you, and then you both being able to relate to each other. And that is missing in a relationship with a narcissist. And there's also no genuine connection because the your self-expression often needs to go down in order to maintain the status quo in the relationship. And if it doesn't, if your expression, like I said, if it doesn't go down, then the conflict in the relationship goes up, which leads to a feeling that you like a lesser connection between you, for the want of better English. And really, what comes with this lack of connection is a real feeling of loneliness that you can have. It's a really lonely place to be when you're in a relationship with someone, or you're hankering after being in a relationship the way that you want, and this person isn't able to be the person who you really want them to be. And I think a part of this loneliness is really where the narcissist is not capable of, and they are never really able to understand who you really are as a person and where you are coming from. And because of that, and because of all of the things I've mentioned, there's really no room for you to be your authentic self in this relationship. And without that authenticity, there is a lack of connection as just a knock-on effect. Another thing that is, I wouldn't say this one's impossible, but difficult in a relationship with a narcissist, and that is growth. Definitely growth in the relationship together, because when you're not really sharing your inner world, your inner thoughts, your inner feelings, and your vulnerabilities, which we um, we know a narcissist doesn't engage in sharing their vulnerabilities unless they're a vulnerable narcissist, and then they will, but not in a way where they take personal responsibility for them. Um, there's always these conflicts when we when we talk and take action on healing from narcissistic abuse. But going back to the point, what is lacking is growth in the relationship, and also in your own personal development and your own healing, because there's only a certain level that you can get to when you're in a relationship with someone who isn't receptive to you as your complete whole self. And the fifth thing that is not impossible but difficult to have in a relationship with a narcissist is support, because support really requires empathy, and that is lacking. And so, by support, I mean support for your feelings, support for just you in your life and the duties and things that you are doing in your life, support when you encounter challenges, support in the day to day. And all of these things over time really do a lot of damage, particularly when you feel, well, no, all of them, but when you feel a lack of support, then it really has a knock on effect for your self esteem and your self confidence and your ability to even recognize that you need support and that you're deserving of support. Now, these are just 5 things that are impossible or difficult to have in a relationship with a narcissist, particularly on a consistent basis. But there's more, there's um, reciprocity, boundaries, respect. There's so much more. Now, this is the talk and take action show. So, what is the action that you can take here? I think it's in really recognizing and evaluating, are you craving these things? Are you craving validation in your relationship? Are you craving a sense of connection, like a real, genuine, mm, long, at lasting and enduring sense of connection? Are you interested in growing in your relationship and as a person and being able to do those things concurrently and not having to hide your own self development and self growth from this person? Do you feel like there's a lack of authenticity and genuineness? And do you crave feelings of support? If you find that you're craving these things, then it's really important to actually notice that. And even though this person wouldn't be able to validate that, it's in recognizing what those things are that are missing and lacking for you, and learning to validate that for yourself, and just recognizing that these are needs in a healthy relationship, and recognizing how much or how little these needs are being met for you right now in this relationship. And I mean, the difficult thing, um often in healing from narcissistic abuse, is that once we have this awareness that we are in this kind of a relationship, there's not really any going back on that. And if we do, then we are, like, if we do suppress this knowledge that we have and this awareness that we have, then we're really blindsiding ourselves and setting ourselves up for more difficulties in the future. So I'd be curious to know, out of these 5, how many you personally relate to. And if you would like more support on your healing journey, please check out my services and also my freebies at revelationtherapy.com. There's a healing workbook there which can help you start to validate yourself and really take necessary steps to heal from this. Sending you so many positivities for you in your healing journey for now, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.